What's up, what's up? I'm back. My name is JVceo. So as you've probably read from the title, today I'm going to be talking about certain qualities you kind of have to be able to go from zero or wherever you are at the moment to 100,000 and beyond. This is probably the foundation of creating wealth, foundation of making money. So that's what I will be introducing in today's video. Alongside that, today's video is more theoretical, so I'm going to give you the theoretical approach to it. However, next week I'll be putting out a new video which gives you more practical elements, so telling you specific things for you to do. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? Honestly, what are you waiting for? To subscribe right now. Thank you. Let's get started. So firstly, in order to attain any sort of success in life, you need to run yourself like a business. You know, some of you watching this video just kind of tick along on a day-to-day basis, and if I'm sorry to say it, but that wouldn't suffice. So you need to go and create a financial document, understand what your incomings are, understand what your outgoings are, understand where the opportunities are. Create a document that tracks your net worth. So at any given point, you could actually say, this is what I'm worth. And also, you need to get to a stage where you understand the long game and you play the long game. Forget about the short game. Understand deferred gratification. With that being said, you then need to be your biggest critic. You got to scrutinize everything. Is that a purchase you want to make? Scrutinize it. Personally, what I do, whenever I make a big purchase, for example, I never take that from my savings. I usually force myself into a creative space. All right, do I want to spend £3,000 on a new thing that, you know, wouldn't really create any income for me? What I do is I force myself into a creative space. Cool. How can I make that £3,000 as an additional income? It doesn't mean how can I take that from my savings or how can I take that from my current income. How can I create a new avenue that can pay me £3,000 so that I can then use and go and make that big purchase? That's what I mean in terms of operating yourself as a business. It will take you a long way, which then leads me on to the second part. You can't save your way into 100,000, generally speaking. You can't save your way into 1,000,000. Remember, this is a foundation. I'm laying down a foundation for you so you understand. Even though I've titled the video 0 to 100,000, it applies all the way to 1,000,000, 2,000,000, 10 million, and so on and so forth. Unfortunately, I'm not going to take 100,000 and give you in this video, but I can give you the tools to actually potentially get there. So, with what I'm saying is, you can't save your way to that. You need to start understanding the art of investment. The art of investment is the art of printing money, is the art of making your money work harder for you. If you put your money in a bank and you're getting however many shit percent that you get on it, you're never going to hit that target because now you're dependent on making more money and making more money, especially if you're working, for example. How much can you really earn working an average job? You see that by the time you take your expenses out, it's hard to get there. But if you understand the element of investing and how to grow your net worth by investing, creating wealth becomes a habit, creating wealth becomes a hobby, creating wealth becomes something that you just naturally do on a day-to-day basis, because every single day you're creating more wealth because you've got your money invested in the right place. This is what we call passive income. This is what we call making money whilst you sleep. Which then brings me on to some examples. Some of you watching this video probably heard about Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett, I think he's got a policy around only keeping 10% of your actual cash, and the remaining 90% should be working hard and long somewhere for you, you know. And he's a billionaire and he still, till today, adheres to that sort of rule. So if he's doing that and he's a billionaire, he doesn't have to, then that definitely strengthens the argument that if you're not investing your money right, you might as well forget, you know, financial freedom. You probably would never attain it. Now, on to the third point. It's almost like a mind disease that affects the urban community. We don't understand the ability to scale, but also we get super excited on even attaining the smallest level of success. An example being, I've been guilty of this myself in the past. An example being, you have a target to hit, say 100,000, and you're really on track to hit 100,000, but you hit 50,000 and, you know, you're halfway there. Automatically, you almost take your foot off the pedals and you relax and you feel like you've made it. You know, you feel like you're here now, sort of stuff. Like, great, you know, I've gone from 0 to 50. By all means, a pat on the back. By all means, a well done. But a lot of times we just kind of forget what the bigger goal is. We forget how to scale up, and we just think, oh yeah, I'm comfortable at 50,000. And before you know it, without having the ability to maintain it, you start to dwindle. You start to go down, and it becomes a downwards spiral, and you go back to 0. You find yourself at, you know, square one, having to rebuild and restart everything. And we've all been guilty about it. I have so many friends that will say, oh, I saved up £10,000 and then lost it, got comfortable, started making silly purchases and lost it. So if you want to hit those big goals, whether it's 100,000 or whether you want to 10x it and hit 1 million, you can't get excited by the little wins. If you want to hit 1 million, you can't get excited once you've hit 250. Take the pat on the back and keep pushing until you get to the next point, you know, and always understand rule number 1, maintain. If you can't maintain, forget about it. You could make 10 million and in 5 years you'll be back to being broke. Rule number 1, maintain. Brings me on to the 4th point and the most important point. If you've watched up until this point and you haven't subscribed, then please pop down and hit the subscribe button. Reason being, clearly for you to be watching up until now, then that means you found value in this video. And if you found value in this video, then I just appreciate if you add a token of support and just hit the subscribe button, drop a comment. I reply to almost all my comment, or at least all my comment when I can. Thanks for watching. Now let's continue. The rule number 4. Number 4. Building your self-confidence is the next step in your direction to financial freedom, for going from 0 to 100, or from 100 to 1 million, or from 1 million to 10 million. Building your self-confidence. And I'm going to link it back to something specific. When you build your self-confidence, you no longer feel the need to make frivolous purchases. You no longer feel the need to make extravagant, stupid decisions for the simple reason that you're living simply to please someone else. Once you build your self-confidence, you're comfortable with how you look. You're comfortable with how you dress. You don't feel the need to go spend £800 on a Gucci jacket. You don't feel the need to go spend 1,500 on a night out because you're competing with a bunch of guys on the other corner of the club who are popping bottles, because that's what happens within our community. And I'll be honest with you, I've been guilty of this myself in the past. I've done everything I'm telling you not to do. I've done all of that and more already. But, you know, I've matured now. I've made my mistakes. I've learned from them. And hence why I'm sharing this with you. I'll give you a perfect example. The hoodie I'm wearing at the moment is from Primark. But then, you know, I mean, it's a tenner and it works. And I wear it to anywhere. I'm comfortable. And my friends know this. Everyone watching this video that knows me on a personal level knows I'd wear it to anywhere. I couldn't give 10 tosses. I don't care whether it's, you know, a dinner or a bunch of other people in designer clothes. I would come through and I'll still be the most confident person in the room, which then allows me to have some spare cash parking off the back that I can, once the time is right, I can take my spare cash in bulk and push it into an investment. Take my spare cash in bulk, push it into a new business. And that's how I keep growing my net worth. And that's how you can grow your net worth too. Number 5, this is probably the saddest part. You need to start questioning your position in life. You need to start questioning everything. You need to start becoming a critical thinker, especially when you're in employment. It's so sad that I see people that have been in the same role for 7 years, 10 years, 15 years on the same salary. And you'd see a younger guy or a younger woman that comes into the establishment and moves up the rank within 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, and they're still in the same old role. It's not for me to put the blame on them, but complacency kills ambition. So you need to force yourself into an uncomfortable state. You need to start questioning everything. Are you on 20 grand at the moment? Why are you on 20 grand at the moment? How can you stretch to 30,000 a year? How can you create, you know, more value within that business that you work for? How can you create a bigger brand? So it becomes impossible for the powers that be to neglect you. So it brings me on to my 6th and final point, which is a merge of like 2 points. Firstly, is understanding the power of online, understanding the power of social media. How many billion people use Facebook? How many billion people use Twitter? How many billion people go on Google and go on Instagram? across our platforms, some of us have thousands of followers. How are you capitalizing on it to actually grow your brand, your personal brand, and to actually monetize? You know, it's very important. But alongside that as well, it's understanding that whatever business you choose to get into, it may not be the business that actually takes you all the way from 0 to 1 million. It might take you from 0 to 10,000, and then you change and you rebrand and you get into something else. I think there is this poor habit within our community. We're all searching for that particular thing that can take us from here to here in the space of no time. But what you got to remember is the way business works is one business leads to another business. I see business as flipping. Same way you flip properties, you flip businesses, you flip upwards. So an example being, I flipped my businesses up to where I am at this current place, and every business added to the next business. I started off selling jumpers, and then I sold poppies, and then I started getting into properties with the money that I made from those business, and then I also started getting into private label branding. But alongside that, I was at uni, and then I was doing events, and from that, the money from that I was able to then reinvest it. I started a commercial cleaning company, and now, I've got other businesses mostly based online. And that's how you can use a business to grow your net worth. That's how you can use a business to flip upwards and stop looking for that particular thing that will take you from here to riches in no time, because more times there isn't that, more times there's no shortcut to the game, and more times you need to embrace every level for you to actually appreciate it when you get to the other end. And more times, even when you do take the shortcuts, there's no longevity. That's why you see people have made 1 million and 5 years later they're back to being broke because they cheated. And you can never cheat the game. The game always wins. Anyways, thank you for watching. I'll always be back at you every single Sunday at 6 p.m. with amazing content. If there's something you want me to talk about, drop me an email or just contact me on one of my social media. Follow me on all my socials. JVceo across all platforms. That being Twitter, that being Snapchat, that being YouTube as well. But on Instagram, it's JVceo_UK, because some silly person had already taken the JVceo name on Instagram. Anyways, hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you next week at 6 p.m. Let's go!